She said open relationships are normal now. Don't be insecure. After I found her messages, so I let her have her freedom and moved out quietly. Now she's panicking that none of her options want anything serious. Hey viewers, before we get into the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want more stories like this. Thanks. I used to believe the worst kind of betrayal was catching someone in a physical affair. Now I think the slower kind, the emotional erosion disguised as personal growth and modern love, is far worse. It doesn't shatter your heart all at once. It dissolves your sense of reality, one drop at a time. My name's Eric. I'm 29, a software engineer, and until about 6 months ago, I was in a 2-year relationship with a woman named Sarah. I genuinely thought she was the one. We met at a friend's game night. She was the loud, funny one, the kind of person who could make any room feel lighter. She worked in marketing, bounced between startups, and said she liked how grounded I was. At the time, I took that as a compliment. Looking back, it should have been the first warning sign. People who find stability fascinating usually aren't ready for it. In the beginning, things were great. Sarah had this chaotic energy I admired. She'd get excited over the smallest things, finding the perfect mug at a thrift store, taking the long way home just to catch the golden hour. I was more structured, but I liked how she pulled me out of my shell. I brought calm to her storms. She brought color to my routines. When she was between jobs, I covered the rent for 3 months and never made her feel guilty about it. I built her a website when she wanted to freelance. I bought her a used camera when she said she wanted to try content creation. I wasn't just her boyfriend. I was her quiet safety net. At first, she thanked me for it. The shift was gradual. Maybe it was the algorithm pushing those poly mindset creators. Maybe it was her friend Kelsey, who treated every guy like an ATM with a pulse. Or maybe this was who Sarah had always been underneath it all. Whatever the cause, it began with small remarks. Monogamy is kind of a colonial concept when you think about it. You wouldn't get mad if I kissed someone at Burning Man, right? That's not real cheating. You don't own me, you know. At first, I laughed them off. But the jokes became sharper, more pointed. Then came the guilt tripping. Whenever I expressed discomfort, I was labeled insecure or controlling. I wasn't forbidding her from anything. I was asking questions. That alone was too much. The moment everything crystallized happened on a random Tuesday night. We were watching TV. She got up to shower and left her Apple Watch charging on the side table. A message lit up, still thinking about Saturday night. You're unreal. It was from a guy named Travis. I didn't snoop. I didn't have to. That one message was enough. My stomach dropped. I paused the show and just stared at it. My ears started ringing. When she came out of the shower wrapped in a towel, she saw me holding the watch. "Who's Travis?" I asked. My voice wasn't angry, just numb. She blinked. Her tail, arms crossed. "What are you doing going through my stuff?" I didn't. It lit up while I was sitting here. She scoffed and snatched the watch from my hand like I'd stolen it. "Jesus, Eric, that's so invasive. He's just a friend." I stayed quiet. "You're being ridiculous." "What? I can't have guy friends now." "Friends don't text like that," I said, still calm. She rolled her eyes and walked into the bedroom. "God, you're so insecure sometimes." I followed her. "Did you hook up with him?" She pulled on a t-shirt. "We hung out. It wasn't a big deal. You cheated on me." I explored. "You and I are too rigid." "Eric, you never want to talk about non-monogamy. I've brought it up like 10 times, and you keep acting like some 1950s dad who owns me." I just stood there. She was pulling the floor out from under me and framing it like I was the issue. "I thought we were exclusive," I said. "You assumed." I was trying to expand how we connect, and instead of being open-minded, you turn it into this morality play. "Open relationships are normal now. You sound like a dinosaur." I said nothing. The silence must have unsettled her, because she doubled down. "I didn't lie to you. I just didn't feel the need to narrate every interaction I have." "That's not cheating. That's me having agency." Agency, as if sleeping with someone behind your partner's back was activism. I went to bed without another word. She tried to cuddle. I turned away. That night, something inside me shut off. No yelling, no slammed doors. I just stared at the ceiling and understood that this wasn't my person. It wasn't even a relationship. It was emotional hostage-taking wrapped in buzzwords and gaslighting. The next morning, I made coffee. She chirped about how we shouldn't let one disagreement ruin something beautiful. I nodded over my mug. Inside, I was already gone. She left for work around 10 o'clock. I called in sick. By 2 p.m., I had reserved a storage unit. By 5 p.m., I had booked a short-term sublet across town. Over the next 2 days, while she was at work, I packed everything that belonged to me. My desk, my PC, clothes, books, guitar, everything. I even left the things I had bought for her. She could keep them. The last thing I did before locking the door was leave a single note on the kitchen counter. "You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me." Then I walked out and never looked back. The first few weeks were strangely quiet. I thought I'd feel liberated. Instead, it felt like stepping off a moving train. Everything was still. No Sarah's voice echoing through the apartment. No sarcastic remarks. No bursts of laughter. No TikToks blaring from the other room. Just me. A fold-out bed in a small rental with beige walls. And silence. For a while, I kept waiting for the breakdown. The moment I'd cry or scream or regret everything. It never came. I was heartbroken, yeah. But not because I missed her. I missed who I thought she was. There's a difference. In that silence, I started doing things I hadn't done in years. I reconnected with friends she once called boring. I went to the gym every morning. I took long walks without checking my phone. I opened a savings account just for myself. I started sleeping deeper, better. The biggest change was that I stopped second-guessing myself. Sarah used to make me feel like every boundary I set was an attack on her freedom. Like wanting exclusivity meant I was trying to cage her. Like wanting honesty meant I was controlling her narrative. But now I was alone. And for the first time in 2 years, I felt sane. I didn't block her everywhere. Just the main channels. Phone, Instagram, email. I knew if she truly wanted to reach me, she'd find a way. It started with a mutual friend texting me. "Hey, not taking sides, but Sarah's been spiraling. You okay?" I ignored it. 3 days later, I got an email from her personal account. The subject line alone said enough. "I miss you. Please read this." I didn't. See, more emails followed. Then a long message through Venmo. Yeah, she literally sent $1 with a note. "I hate how things ended. Can we talk, Tive?" I refunded it without responding. That's when the tone shifted. A week after the Venmo stunt, I got a call from an unknown number. I didn't answer. Then a text came through. "Hey, it's Sarah's friend Tasha. She's not doing great. She really just wants closure. Could you meet her? Even once." Closure. Funny how people want closure when they realize the door actually locked behind them. I didn't respond, but updates started trickling in. Not from Sarah, but from the world we used to share. A guy from our old friend group messaged me out of nowhere. Dude Travis, the guy she messed around with. Total clown. She went all in and he ghosted her after a week. A few days later, someone I barely knew sent another message. "Not sure if you care, but Sarah's blowing up her friend group. Everyone's kind of over her drama." I didn't reply to any of them. But I won't lie, reading those messages felt validating. Apparently, after I left, she tried to flip the narrative. Told everyone I was emotionally repressive. That I abandoned her because I couldn't handle a strong woman with options. But people saw through it, especially when she started crying on Instagram about men being trash while thirst trapping in the same post. Her follower count dipped. Group chats went quiet. Travis never became her boyfriend. He told people she was too intense. The other guy she had lined up fizzled out. One had a girlfriend and only wanted a fling. Another never showed up for their date. She went from liberated and exploring to accidentally single and confused in under a month. That's when the desperation really set. In fun evening, I walked into my building's lobby, and there she was. Sarah, standing by the elevator in a hoodie, arms crossed, like she hadn't detonated our entire relationship 6 weeks earlier. She looked smaller somehow, less confident. Or maybe I was just seeing clearly now. I didn't respond. I didn't know how else to get through to you. You blocked me everywhere. I did. She hesitated. "I didn't expect you to disappear like that." I raised an eyebrow. "You said open relationships were normal." "I gave you what you wanted. Freedom. Freedom." She flinched. "I was wrong, okay? I was trying to figure myself out. I didn't mean to hurt you. You weren't figuring anything out. You were stringing me along while chasing attention." "That's not fair," she snapped. though her voice cracked. No, I said, calm as ever. What wasn't fair was asking for loyalty while planning your exit. She looked down. I miss you, she whispered. Everything feels so empty now. I nodded. Yeah, that's what happens when you burn bridges before you know how to swim. She looked like she might cry. I didn't care. You don't even want a hash. Hear me out, she asked. Senate, hear you out. That night you called me controlling, insecure, and outdated. That was the last conversation we needed. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. Maybe she didn't. Maybe for the first time, she was seeing me not as the quiet guy who would do anything to keep her happy, but as someone who finally understood he deserved better. You're really not coming back, are you? No, I said. And you're not either. Then I walked past her, pressed the elevator button, and didn't look back. After that encounter in the lobby, I thought she'd finally get the message. She didn't. A week later, my email inbox exploded again, not just from Sarah, from her mother. Yes, her actual mom emailed me. Subject line: Sarah is hurting. Sarah is hurting. Please don't abandon her when she needs you most. As if I hadn't already watched her shove our relationship off a cliff, set it on fire, and livestream the fall. The email was a guilt trip wrapped in concern. Long paragraphs about how Sarah had always struggled with relationships, how I was the first stable influence in her life, how a strong man doesn't walk away when a woman is confused. I didn't reply. I archived it like spam. Then her sister Jenny texted me out of nowhere. I know she messed up, but you two had something real. She cries every night. I blocked the number. A few days later, I found a handwritten letter in my building's mailbox. No stamp, just folded paper. Eric, you didn't even give me a chance to explain. I wasn't trying to replace you. I was scared. I thought if I had options, I'd feel safer. But all I have done is ruin the one person who actually saw me. I miss your quiet mornings, your coffee. I miss how safe I felt with you. I thought I wanted chaos. I thought I wanted excitement. I was wrong. Please, even just a coffee, let me show you. I have changed. Sarah. I stared at it for a full minute. Then I tore it in half and threw it in the trash with the same finality I used to delete her Instagram from my mind. But she still wasn't done. 2 days later, my boss called me. Hey, Eric. Weird question. Did you give someone permission to visit you here? What? No. No. Okay. There was a woman in the lobby asking for you. Said she was your girlfriend. I closed my eyes and took a slow breath. She's not. Sorry about that. It won't happen again. It was pathetic. The persistence. The pressure. The desperate attempts to stage a reunion like this was some rom-com instead of a self-inflicted car crash. But the part that really hit me, she wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry she lost access to me. The final straw came on a Sunday afternoon when I stopped at a cafe with some coworkers. We were grabbing coffee before a movie. As we walked in, I saw her. Sarah sitting alone by the window with her laptop and headphones, like someone trying to manifest stability. Our eyes met. I gave a polite nod and turned back to my group. Of course, she stood up and walked straight over. Fake smile. Glossed lips. Like she hadn't spent months trying to dismantle my peace. Hi, she said, breathy, like she'd just run a mile. Hey, I replied, flat and emotionless. She glanced past me at my friends. One of them was a woman. A new hire from our dev team. Sarah's eyes narrowed for a split second. Can we talk, please? I stepped aside with her, close enough to keep it civil, far enough that I could leave at any moment. She folded her arms and looked up at me like she still believed she had leverage. I know you hate me right now. I don't, I said. You're just not part of my life anymore. She blinked. That one landed. You really think I'm some monster, don't you? No. I think you're selfish and impulsive and incredibly good at dressing up bad. Rail and intellectual language to avoid accountability. Wow. Her jaw tightened. You really don't believe in forgiveness. I believe in it. I just don't believe in recycling red flags. She scoffed. You think you're better than me now? No, I said. I know I am. There it was, the shift. Her entire body stiffened, like the mask cracked too quickly. You have changed, she snapped. I have. You helped with that. Is that girl you're with your new girlfriend? Not that it's any of your business, but no. She's just a friend. She tried to play it off, but the jealousy was obvious. You wanted freedom, attention, options, and you got them. But none of them chose you back, did they? She looked at me like I'd slapped her, but I wasn't being cruel. I was being honest, something she never gave me. You act like I ruined everything. You did, I said simply. But the good news is, you did me a favor. You showed me exactly what to avoid for the rest of my life. Her breathing grew heavier, her voice tight. You're being so cold. No, I said. I'm being clear. I'm not angry, Sarah. I just don't care anymore. She shook her head. So that's it? You're done with me forever? I was done the night you looked me in the eye and told me open relationships were normal. You wanted the door open. I walked out of it. Then I turned back to my group and left her standing there. No drama, no scene, just a woman facing the consequences of her choices with no one left to blame. That was the last time I ever saw her. No more emails, no more surprise visits, no more friends reaching out to vouch for her. Just silence. Maybe she finally understood. Maybe she realized that whatever spell she once had over me, the charm, the gaslighting, the performative self-importance, didn't work anymore. Maybe she saw that the version of me who would have taken her back out of guilt was gone. Or maybe, like every option she chased, she just lost interest once there was no attention left to harvest. I never cared enough to find out. In the months that followed, life improved. Not overnight, but steadily, quietly. I got promoted at work, started leading a new product team, picked up a new hobby, boxing. There was something therapeutic about hitting a heavy bag in silence. No words, no debates, no manipulation, just release. I moved into a new place, bigger kitchen, better light, no ghosts. And yeah, I started dating again. Carefully, slowly, no rushing, no desperation, just seeing people for who they actually are, not who I wanted them to be. One of them, a woman named Leah, is still around. We're not in a hurry to define anything, but she's the most emotionally grounded person I've met in years. She listens more than she talks. She asks questions instead of making accusations. When I told her about my history with Sarah, she didn't flinch. She just said, well, it sounds like you finally chose yourself. She was right. It's not about replacing Sarah. It's about removing the version of me that tolerated her. The part of me that mistook gaslighting for communication, that confused chaos with passion, that believed loyalty meant waiting around while someone decided if I was enough. That guy's gone. And good riddance. A few weeks ago, I was invited to a mutual friend's engagement party. Someone from the old group Sarah and I used to hang out with. I almost skipped it, but in the end, I realized I had nothing to avoid. Besides, Leah came with me. It was a backyard party. Music, string lights, people laughing. We mingled, drank wine, caught up with old acquaintances who, surprisingly, didn't mention Sarah at all. It was like she'd evaporated from everyone's memory. Until she showed up. She arrived late, alone. Her hair was shorter, her makeup heavier, her smile forced. Not the bright, genuine one I used to love. This one didn't reach her eyes. She was trying to look unbothered, happy, content. It wasn't convincing. She spotted me across the lawn. Her expression froze when she noticed Leah. Leah had her arm loosely around my waist, listening as I told a dumb story about an office coffee machine war. She laughed at the punchline just as Sarah stopped walking. And I swear Sarah turned around and walked the other way. She didn't say hi, didn't wave, didn't cause a scene. She just turned and left. That was the moment I knew it was truly over. Not just a relationship, but the power she thought she had, the emotional leverage, the guilt, the way she once made me feel like I owed her my silence while she figured herself out. Not anymore. That night, Leah and I went home, opened a bottle of wine, and watched a movie. No drama, no lies, just two people enjoying peace. The kind that comes after a storm, when the wreckage is cleared and the sky is finally quiet. Sometimes, I still think about the note I left behind. You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me. At the time, it felt like the bare minimum. Now I realize it was everything. Freedom without accountability is just a cage you build for yourself. As far as I know, she's still trapped in hers. Me? I'm just living. Thanks for watching.